Hey guys, so it's Kent here with the Backyard Coupe. We're going to tack in these control arms slash ladder bars. I got everything set up now. So yeah, let's put those in there and I'll show you what that looks like. Sorry, I forgot to mention, here I'm just going to move the camera around a little bit. I've got a tub of water sitting on the back of the car there, just to put it down at the ride height that it needs to be at. So you'll have to take that into consideration, and I'll give you an approximation of the weight that you need on there to get the right ride height. So yeah, I just thought I'd point that out to you. So we get that set and then we put the control arms on, the ladder bars on. So okay, so let's go tack those on. I'll just zoom in a little bit here. Okay, I got one tack on the back side. I'm just checking to make sure the bar is where it's supposed to be. Tack on the bottom. So it's looking fairly good. I'm just going to take the camera off the tripod here and show you a little close up. So there's that 1/4 inch flat bar that's tacked in. It's hard to see because I got that other brace on there, but that's the 1/4 inch flat bar tacked into the ladder bar mount. And then I'll show you what the front of it looks like, where it joins up with the ladder bar cross member there. So you can see those two little tabs. Those are those 3/16 inch tabs. And I just got them resting on a piece of angle iron. And they're just going to get tacked into place there. I got my mark right there. And like I said previous, you'll have to make one of these tabs shorter than the other so that you can get the angle that you need. Okay, so I'm going to finish tacking that up, and then I'll show you what it looks like. Hey guys, Kent here with Backyard Coupe. So I got those front ladder bar mounts tacked in place. I'm just going to give you a little close up of that. So just those 3/16 tabs that are tacked to the cross member on each side. And I'll show you what that looks like from the front. You can see the spring on the back and the two control arms slash ladder bars, whatever you want to call them. Okay, so those are in place. Now I'm going to move to the front of the frame, and I'm going to do up the motor mounts here. I don't have a block to use to fit to mock up the mounts, so what I did was I just took my mount, my actual engine mount that I used on the original car, and I just took it off, and then I'm gonna mock up the mounts here and tack them into place. So this engine mount that I'm using is another piece from Speedway Motors, and if you look real close, I don't know if you guys can see that it is offset in the chassis. It's offset to the passenger side a little bit, and I'll have all those dimensions in the plans. No need to worry about that at all. It works absolutely perfectly. I've had no issues with it. I just offset it a little bit to give me some extra room for the steering box. And all the angles are set up and it works just fine. So yeah, I'm just going to tack those again, the same as the ladder bars there. These are 3/16 tabs that I use for the mounts. So I'm just going to tack those in place, and then we can see what that looks like. So I'll be right back. Hey Hot Rodders, it's Kent here with the Backyard Coupe. So I thought I would just show you a brief little video of how I make those tabs. Like, we use a lot of them for mounting the ladder bars and mounting for the motor mounts and for the transmission mid-plate mount. So I was making up my last two tabs there, and I thought I'd just show you quickly how I make them. These are made out of 3/16 by 2-inch wide flat bar, and then I just drill a hole. I mark it out 3/4 of an inch from the edge, centered, and then I drill it usually, I don't know, on about three or four stages, I guess, up to the 1/2-inch hole. It depends on what kind of drill press you got. I just got a small one here, so it's only a little 8-inch drill press, so it's kind of the maximum that'll do 1/2-inch. But so yeah, so I measure it 3/4 inch from the edge, and then center it at 1 inch because it's 2 inches wide, and I drill my hole, and then I just round off the edges here, or round off the end, and I just cut it with a zip cut on the corners, and then I just have a 36 grit flex disc on my grinder, and then I'll just shape that just by hand. So I'll just show you what that looks like. So that's my little tab for, like I said, the ladder bar mounts, motor mounts, transmission mid mount, and all those things. It's not perfect, but it's fine for what we're doing. And yeah, they don't, well, the drilling takes a little while to do, but other than that, it's pretty easy to make, and they work really good. So I just thought I'd show you quickly how those are made. So I'm going to weld these two on. Here, I'll just show you. I've got the transmission mid plate set up because I'm not actually using a motor and a transmission. I'm just mocking everything up with measurements that I've taken off my original car. And here, I'm going to show you a little close-up of what that looks like. So I've got the motor mount, the front motor mount set in place. I got the tabs tacked in on those. And now I'm doing the mid plate, and these little plates here, they go in between the motor and the transmission. Right here. You can see that big hole there is where the dowel goes in between the motor and transmission, and then these two bolts. So it's almost like it's not a full mounting plate, but it's almost like what you call a mounting ear, like two ears, one on the driver's side and one on the passenger side. And so I got this tacked together on a piece of flat bar just to give me my measurements that I need, and just mocking up, of course, where the transmission would be. And then, so here's my mounts down here. And then I'll just grab one of these tabs that I made. And I'll show you. So this is looking from the back side. So that tab's just going to fit up in there, and then we'll weld it to the frame. I just got to clean up the edges a little bit on it, but yeah, so that's how that works. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to finish the other side, and then I'll tack those in place, and then this camera's kind of slow to focus. Then I'll take my clamps off of the piece I got there, and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so I'll be right back. Okay, so that's in place. I'm going to throw a couple tacks on that. And then I'll go around and I'll do the other side. And then I'll take all these pieces of angle iron that I got holding everything together, and we can see what it looks like. Okay, so that's tacked in. I'm just going to take the camera out of the tripod. So that's what that looks like. And that's what it looks like from the back side. You can see the mount a little bit better there. And like I said, I just put a washer and a nut just to hold everything nice and square together. So I'm going to go do this passenger side now. See, this one I ended up cutting a little bit short, so I just build it up with a little bit of weld to make it fit a little nicer. So I'll tack that one into place, and then I'll be right back. Hey guys, just drilling out these holes. kind of overmaxed on the capacity of my little drill press, but I actually got through 5/8 holes. Making these little mounts, they're for the radius rods, and they get welded onto the bottom of the frame rail. So yeah, I'll show you that in a minute. So these are made at a 1/4 inch. 1/4 inch plate, 2 inches wide by 4 inches long. And I'm gonna show you how well, I mean, the fab on them is pretty simple. They're just a hole drilled right in the absolute center of them. And then I'm gonna, since I don't have a brake, I always cheat like this. I'm just gonna make a zip cut here and here. And then I'm gonna bend the plate down just a little bit on either side, just to give the the mount a little bit of lateral stiffness, rather than just weld it to the bottom of the frame straight on like that. So yeah, I'll be back in a minute and I'll show you how I do that. Hey guys, so I got those cuts done, and I just clamped it to the top of the frame rail. And you can see I got the one side here bent already. So yeah, we just bend it over to the angle that we want. And then, like I say, we just weld those cuts back up. We get the angle that we want it. So that looks pretty close there. So I'll give you a close-up of that, what that looks like. So, looks something like so. So we're gonna weld that up, and then I'm also gonna, just on the bottom side there, I'm just gonna cut these corners off and round them off a little bit so it'll look a little bit nicer. But in a nutshell, yeah, so that's what those look like. And I'll show you what they look like on the original car. Oops, sorry about that. Let's see, where are we? Yeah, so there they are on the original car there. I mean, you can buy those brackets, but they're not really hard to make. If you want to buy them, go ahead, but I'll include the plan, the dimensions on how to make them in the plans. So yeah, we'll get those done, and then we'll tack them on, and then I'm going to show you how to make the steering box mount. I've got the steering box template that I made up earlier today. I'll just show you what that looks like. And that's going to get fitted to the frame. The driver's side front corner, just behind the motor mount there. So it'll get fitted up. I'm just going to narrow out the zoom on my camera. I got too much zoom on it, I can't see. So it's going to fit. Here, sorry about that, I'm just going to change hands. Here's the motor mount. It's just going to fit approximately in behind the motor mount like so. Can't really see it that good, but I'll get my tripod set up, and then I'll show you what that looks like. There's the original one. Okay, so I'll get those made up for you, and I'll tack them in place just to show you what they look like on the chassis, and then that'll be pretty much it for the chassis video, and then I'll get back to finishing up the plans. I know you guys are waiting patiently for them. So, okay, yeah, I'll be right back. Hey guys, it's Kent here with the Backyard Coupe. So I've got, I finished welding those radius rod brackets, and I'm just going to show you what those look like. So now they're ready to be mounted. I just scribed a line on the center of the hole, and then I'm going to fit and tack them to the frame, and then I'll show you what those look like, and then after that we're going to come back and we'll do the steering box mount. Okay, so I'll be right back. Hey guys, so we're back here with the radius rod brackets. I've got my mark just drawn out on some masking tape. So I'm just going to center that hole, center the mark on the center of the hole that I've got there. And we're going to put that maybe about a 1/4 inch in from the outside of that tubing. Just give us enough room for a good weld around there, but for now we're just going to tack it in place. And I'll show you how I do that. Okay, so I got that radius rod bracket in place. I'm just going to take the camera off the tripod here again, show you a little close-up. So you can see what it looks like. So yeah, it's just aligned up with that mark, and I've got it sitting in about a 1/4 inch from the outer edge of that tubing on the main chassis there. So looks something like that. So I'm gonna go do the other side, and then I'll be right back. Hey guys, so we're back here with the steering box mount now. I've got my steering box made. I showed you the template before, and it'll be included in the plans. So we're just going to attach this now to the frame, and then I'll bolt the steering box to it and show you what that looks like. But first we have to, if you look close at the steering box, you can see that these mounting holes are offset a little bit. So if we try to put the plate on there, just like so, it's going to bottom out on the box itself. and there's a gap where the holes go there. So in order to solve that, we just have to put some little spacers on there. If you buy your steering box mount from a speed shop, it'll have those on, but if you're making your own, like I do, we just use 3/4 inch tubing. I forget what the wall thickness is, but I'll give you the specs in the plans. And so these are cut basically half inch wide, or half inch long, I should say. And so we're just going to tack those on those holes like so, and then we'll be able to get a good fit on that steering box. So I'm going to tack those. I'm going to tack these 3 little spacers, and then I'll be right back, and then we'll tack that up to the frame, and then we'll mount the steering box to it. Okay, so I'll be back in a minute. Hey guys, so we're back here with the steering box mount. I threw a couple of bolts in there and mounted it to the steering box, so you can see the spacers, and you can also see now that there is a space right through between the plate and the box, so it's not touching there, and that's how it should be. So this thing is ready to go now, so we can mount it to the frame. And I'm just going to put it into position, and I'll show you what that looks like, and then we'll tack it up. Hey guys, so we're back here with the steering box mount. I've got it clamped into position on the frame rail, and I just want to show you, I mean, again, all these details will be in the plans, but I just want to show you what has to be taken into consideration. So this gets mounted fairly close to the motor mount. So obviously we've got to have enough room to get our bolt in there, which we do. There's probably about a good 1/4 inch in there. And when this box gets mounted, the way that they work is they work the best if the steering arm is as level as possible. So if anything, it can have a slight incline where the steering column joins the box there, so it can have a slight incline, very slight, but as parallel to the ground as you can. Keep the drag link the better, or sorry, not the drag link, the pitman arm as parallel to the ground as you can keep it, the better. So this is fairly parallel. It's just at a slight incline. How would you say, like this? Tilted up like that, in that direction. So the other thing is I just wanted to show you on where the bolt holes are. I've got this spaced up 3/8 of an inch. I got a piece of 1/4 inch plate and then a piece of 1/8 inch plate, so 3/8 under that bolt hole. And then on the bottom, it's about 3/8 in between there. And that other hole is a little tighter because, like I said, the angle is tilted up ever so slightly. Just make sure that you can get a socket in there, a 5/8 socket, for obviously taking the box out if you ever need to. So just make sure the socket fits in there. And that should be about it. So I'm going to tack this in place, and I'll be right back. Hey guys, so I got the steering box mounted. I got it tacked into place there so you can see kind of what it looks like. Nothing too difficult, pretty straightforward. So the mount's tacked to the chassis, and you can see those spacers that are in there, and you can see how the box sits in there. Again, like I said, it was the drag link, or sorry, the pitman arm is pretty much perpendicular to the floor. And yeah, so of course, again, I'm gonna, all these measurements and instructions will be included in the plans.